The bottle shattered against the kitchen wall, shards exploding like the fragments of Callie's carefully guarded secret. "You're a goddamn disgrace to this family. Callie, loving women? That's not who we raised you to be." Her father's voice boomed through the cramped Brooklyn brownstone, veins bulging in his neck as his face twisted into something unrecognizable, hatred laced with the bitter tang of betrayal. Callie stood frozen, the sting of whiskey-laced glass nicking her arm. Blood trickling warm down her skin. But it was her mother's silence that cut deepest. Her eyes averted like Callie was already a ghost. Callie Harper had always known she was different. But it wasn't until that humid August night in 2023 that the world decided to label it a sin. She was 25. Fresh out of a dead-end graphic design gig in Queens, crashing on her sister's couch after her latest roommate bailed. Elena, her older sister by 5 years, was the golden child, the one who'd clawed her way from community college to a corner office at Hale & Associates, a cutthroat PR firm in Midtown Manhattan. Elena's life was a whirlwind of power lunches and designer heels, while Callie's was a sketchbook full of half-finished portraits of women whose curves haunted her dreams. That night, the fight erupted over dinner. The kind of family ambush that simmers for months before boiling over. Callie had been seeing Jordan for 3 weeks, a barista with a tattoo sleeve and a laugh that lit up dingy coffee shops. It was innocent at first, stolen kisses behind the espresso machine, fingers brushing under cafe tables. But Elena had walked in on them one rainy afternoon, Jordan's hand lingering too long on Callie's waist. "What the hell? Cal," Elena had hissed later, her voice a mix of shock and something sharper, like disappointment. Callie had brushed it off, but the seed was planted. Their parents, relics of a Rust Belt, Ohio upbringing transplanted to New York's unforgiving grind, caught wind through Elena's offhand slip. Dad, a retired mechanic with grease-stained hands and a Bible on the nightstand, exploded first. Mom, ever the peacemaker, crumbled into prayers whispered over rosary beads. "We didn't raise you like this," Mom had sobbed, as if Callie's heart was a faulty wiring job they could fix with a wrench. The words disgrace and abomination flew like shrapnel, embedding in Callie's chest until she couldn't breathe. By midnight, Callie was out the door, backpack slung over one shoulder, the city lights blurring through hot tears. She didn't call Elena, not yet. Instead, she wandered the empty streets of Williamsburg, the hipster haven where irony masked the ache of too many dreams deferred. Her phone buzzed, a text from Jordan. "Miss you already. Come over?" But the fight had soured it all. Even the soft promise of Jordan's touch felt tainted now. Like love was just another thing her family could ruin. The next morning, Elena found her slumped on a park bench near the East River, nursing a black coffee from a street vendor. "Jesus. You look like hell." Elena's voice was brisk, efficient, the tone she used for underperforming interns. 30. She was all sharp edges, honey blonde bob, power suits that hugged her athletic frame from years of SoulCycle, and eyes that missed nothing. She was the sister who'd bandaged Callie's scraped knees and shared stolen Marlboros behind the high school bleachers. But now, there was a distance, a crack in the foundation. "I can't go back," Callie muttered, staring at the water where fairies churned like restless ghosts. "They hate me. Elena. For who I am." Elena sighed, dropping onto the bench with the grace of someone who'd negotiated multimillion-dollar deals before breakfast. "They don't hate you. They're scared. Old-school Catholic guilt and all that bullshit. Dad's just..." "Dad." She pulled out a pack of gum, popping a piece like it could chew away the awkwardness. Look. Crash at my place as long as you need. But you gotta pull it together. I've got a meeting with Victoria Hale today, big pitch for that tech startup. Can't have my little sis looking like a drowned rat if she drops by. Victoria Hale. The name alone sent a ripple through Callie's fog of exhaustion. Elena's boss, the iron-fisted queen of Hale and Associates, was a legend in New York's media circles. 42. She was the kind of woman who commanded boardrooms with a single arched eyebrow, divorced twice, no kids, rumors swirling about her private life like smoke from a high-end cigar. Some said she was a shark in stilettos. Others whispered she was the only one who'd ever made grown men cry during salary negotiations. Callie had seen photos. Sleek black hair with silver threads like lightning, blue eyes that pierced like winter skies, and a smile that could disarm or destroy. Elena dragged Callie back to her sleek one-bedroom in Chelsea. All exposed brick and minimalist furniture that screamed, successful millennial. Callie showered off the night's grime, emerging in borrowed yoga pants that hung loose on her slight frame. She was all soft curves and freckles, auburn waves that frizzed in humidity, green eyes that hid too much hurt. By afternoon, Elena was gone to the office, leaving Callie with a spare key and a fridge stocked with kale smoothies. Boredom led her to snoop. Elena's desk was a shrine to ambition, framed degrees, a crystal decanter of scotch, and a stack of folders marked confidential. One caught her eye. Hale bio update. Curiosity 1. Callie flipped it open. Grainy headshot of Victoria, looking every bit the powerhouse. But tucked inside was a handwritten note in elegant script. Elena, your fire reminds me of me at your age. Don't let them dim it. B. Callie traced the ink, a strange warmth blooming in her chest. It was nothing. Really just words on paper. But in that moment, amid the wreckage of her outcast heart, felt like a lifeline. The first time Callie met Victoria Hale wasn't in some glossy conference room, but in the chaos of a rooftop happy hour Elena insisted she attend. Networking. Cal. It's how the world works, Elena had said, shoving a black dress into her hands. Besides, Vic's curious about you. I might have mentioned the artist in the family. Callie felt like an imposter amid the suits and stemware, her dress clinging too tight, heels wobbling on the gravel. The Manhattan skyline glittered below, a sea of ambition she could never swim. She nursed a gin and tonic, sketching strangers on a napkin, elongated necks, shadowed jaws when Elena appeared, arm linked with a vision in emerald silk. Victoria. This is my sister. Callie. The one I told you about, the designer with the killer portfolio. Victoria's handshake was firm. Cool. Her blue eyes locking onto Callie's with an intensity that made her stomach flip. Close. She was stunning in a way that defied photos, faint laugh lines framing her mouth, a subtle scar above her lip from some untold adventure. Elena's been singing your praises, Victoria said, her voice low and smoky, like aged bourbon. Says you've got an eye for the raw truth. That's rare in this town. Callie flushed, mumbling something about freelance gigs. But Victoria didn't let go, her thumb brushing Callie's knuckles in a gesture so fleeting it might have been accidental. Tell me about your work. Not the polished stuff, the messy sketches that keep you up at night. They talked for an hour, the city fading to a hum. Victoria leaned in, asking about Callie's charcoal nudes, the women she'd captured in quiet vulnerability. There's power in seeing, Victoria said, her gaze unwavering. In being seen, Elena watched from across the roof, her smile tight, like she sensed the shift in the air. That night, back in Elena's apartment, Callie lay awake, replaying the conversation. Victoria's laugh, the way her fingers grazed a wine glass. It was admiration, nothing more. But in the dark, alone with her racing pulse, Callie wondered if the disgrace her family saw was just the beginning of something fiercer. Weeks blurred into a fragile routine. Callie tempied as a production assistant at Hale & Associates, Elena pulling strings to get her in the door. The office was a hive, glass walls echoing with deal-closing cheers, interns scurrying like ants. Victoria was everywhere and nowhere, a force field of charisma, barking orders 1 minute, charming clients the next. She'd pause by Callie's desk, dropping cryptic advice. Don't apologize for your lines, Callie. Own the stroke, Elena noticed. Vic's got a soft spot for strays, she'd joke. But her eyes held a shadow. Callie ignored it, losing herself in late nights with Jordan, who was all easy affection and no questions. But Jordan faded when Callie started canceling, too tired from 12-hour days, too tangled in thoughts of silver-streaked hair. The betrayal came softly, like fog rolling in off the Hudson. It was a Friday, post-pitch celebration at a speakeasy in the village. Callie had nailed a mock-up for Victoria's approval, earning a rare impeccable scrawled in red ink. Emboldened, she joined the after-party, Elena already 3 drinks in, laughing too loud at interns' jokes. Victoria found her at the bar, sliding onto the stool beside her. You vanished after the meeting. Hiding from success, Callie laughed, nerves fizzing like the soda in her glass. More like hiding from small talk. They slipped into rhythm again, stories of Victoria's early days. Scraping by in Chicago newsrooms, Callie's dreams of a solo exhibit, portraits of women unbroken. The dim lights softened Victoria's edges, her hand resting on Callie's knee under the table, an anchor in the crowd's roar. When their eyes met, the air thickened, charged with unspoken want. Elena burst through then, cheeks flushed, eyes glassy. There you are. Vic, we need to talk strategy now. Her tone was clipped, possessive. Victoria's hand withdrew, but the warmth lingered. Later, stumbling home with Elena, the words spilled. Stay away from her, Cal. Victoria's not. She's not for you. Callie stopped short on the sidewalk, the city pulse mocking her. What the hell does that mean? Elena's face crumpled, vulnerability cracking her armor. She's my boss. My mentor. And yet, I've heard the rumors she likes women. But it's power plays, Cal. She's twice your age. Plays the field like it's chess. You'll get hurt. Stung. The implication that Callie was naive. A pawn. I'm not a kid, Elena. And it's not like that, but it was. That night, alone, Callie Googled Victoria, articles on her divorces, whispers of affairs with female journalists, a profile calling her New York's most eligible ice queen. The photos fueled fantasies, Victoria in tailored suits, commanding stages. Callie's hand slipped under her waistband, breath hitching at the thought of those blue eyes on her, seeing her truly. The family dinner invitation arrived like a grenade. Mom's email, one chance to make this right. Callie. Church counseling. Come home. Dad's PS, or don't. Your choice. Disgrace. Callie deleted it, but the poison seeped. She threw herself into work, sketching Victoria in stolen moments, her profile against skyline windows, a vulnerability in repose. One afternoon, Victoria caught her. "Is that me?" Callie froze, charcoal smudging her fingers. "It's just practice." Victoria's smile was slow, devastating. "May I?" She took the sketch, tracing the lines with a fingertip. "You see too much. It's dangerous." Then, softer. "Thank you." That touch ignited it. By week's end, they were meeting off books, a quiet bistro in Soho. Victoria's treat. Conversation flowed like wine. Shared heartbreaks. The ache of hiding. "My first wife left because I couldn't pretend," Victoria confessed, eyes distant. "The second because I stopped trying." Love's a battlefield. Callie. You enter knowing you'll bleed. Callie reached across the table, lacing their fingers. "Worth it, though." Victoria's gaze darkened, thumb stroking Callie's palm. "For the right fight." The kiss happened in the cab ride back, rain sheeting the windows like a veil. Victoria's lips were soft, insistent, tasting of Cabernet and resolve. Callie's world narrowed to that heat, the press of bodies in leather seats. When they parted, gasping, Victoria whispered, "This could ruin us both." But ruin felt like rebirth. Elena found out through a careless text, Callie's phone left on the kitchen counter. Victoria's name glowing. "Dreamt of your sketches on my skin." The confrontation was brutal. Elena's apartment turning battleground. "You're screwing my boss? After everything I've done for you." Elena's voice cracked. Betrayal raw. "I brought you in to help, not to chase skirts." Callie recoiled. "It's not chasing. It's real. Elena. Like you. Hiding behind your perfect life." Elena's slap echoed, palm stinging Callie's cheek. "Get out. Before you drag us all down." Callie fled into the night. Heart pounding. The city a blur of neon accusations. She ended up at Victoria's penthouse, doorman buzzing her up on a hunch. Victoria answered in silk pajamas, hair tousled, concern etching her face. "What happened?" "The dam broke." Callie sobbed out the fight, the family venom, Elena's rage. Victoria pulled her inside, arms enveloping like safety. "You're not a disgrace," she murmured, lips brushing Callie's temple. "You're a revelation." They made love that night, slow and reverent, bodies mapping uncharted territories. Victoria's hands were sure, coaxing gasps from Callie's throat. Callie's fingers traced scars, eliciting shudders from the unbreakable. In the afterglow, tangled in Egyptian cotton, Victoria confessed, "I haven't let anyone this close in years." "You terrify me." Callie smiled through tears. "Good. Means it's real." But dawn brought reality's bite. Elena's call fired. "Vic, let me go. This is on you." The accusation hung, a noose tightening. Victoria, over coffee, was stoic. It was coming. She pushed too hard on that client ethics breach. But yeah, your timing didn't help. Betrayal twisted in Callie's gut, not Victoria's, but Elena's, weaponizing blood against desire. "She thinks I'm the ruin." Victoria cupped her face. "Then let her. We'll build from the ashes." The fallout spread like ink in water. staining everything it touched. Elena vanished into radio silence. Her social media scrubbed of family photos, replaced by cryptic quotes about boundaries and self-preservation. Callie's parents escalated, Dad mailing back her childhood sketchbooks with pages torn, labeled perverts doodles. Mom's voicemails were pleas wrapped in scripture. Come to confession. Baby. God's mercy is endless. Callie armored up, crashing full-time at Victoria's sprawling Tribeca loft, a minimalist fortress of steel beams and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson. It was worlds from Elena's tidy Chelsea nest, abstract sculptures by queer artists, a bar cart stocked with single malts, and a king bed where nights blurred into mornings of whispered vulnerabilities. Victoria moved like a panther in her domain, shedding the boardroom armor for cashmere sweaters and bare feet. 42. She carried her years like badges, faint stretch marks from a life unlived, laugh lines from battles won. You're healing me, Callie murmured one evening, head in Victoria's lap as they lounged on a leather sectional, jazz crooning from hidden speakers. Victoria's fingers combed through auburn waves, gentle as rain. You're waking me, Victoria replied, voice husky. I forgot what it felt like to want without strategy. Their rhythm was intoxicating. Mornings of shared espressos and New York Times crosswords, where Victoria teased Callie's artistic liberties with clues. Afternoons commandeering Victoria's home studio, Callie sketching while Victoria reviewed contracts on her tablet. Evenings were theirs, walks along the High Line, hands brushing anonymity in the crowd, or intimate dinners where Victoria cooked pasta carbonara with the precision of a Michelin chef, her Alabama roots peeking through in drawled anecdotes of sweet tea summers. But cracks spiderwebbed beneath the idol. Victoria's ex, a sharp-tongued editor named Lila, started circling, texts disguised as old business, lunches for old time's sake. Callie saw the notifications, jealousy coiling like smoke. She's trouble, Callie said one night, after Lila's latest accidental drop-by at the office. Victoria waved it off, pouring wine. Ancient history. She thrives on drama, yet doubt festered. Callie threw herself into a new project, a series of portraits titled Disgraced. Women from history. Molly Pitcher. Sacagawea reimagined with queer gazes, fierce and unapologetic. Victoria funded the exhibit space, a gritty gallery in Bushwick, her check written with a flourish, for the Sears. Elena's ghost loomed largest. A month post-firing, she resurfaced via a late-night pounding on Victoria's door. Callie answered, heart-slamming. Elena looked wrecked, dark circles under her eyes, hair unkempt, clutching a bottle of cheap Merlot like a talisman. I hate you, Elena spat, but her voice wobbled. You stole my life. My career. Everything. Callie stepped aside, letting her in. Victoria emerged from the study, rope cinched, expression neutral. Elena. This isn't the time. No. It is. Elena's eyes darted between them, accusation sharpening. You think this is love? It's pity. Vic, you're just collecting strays, first me, now her. And Cal, you're the fool. Thinking a sugar mama fixes family. Victoria's jaw tightened. Get out. Before I call security. But Elena lunged at Callie, grabbing her wrist. Remember when we were kids? I'd protect you from Dad's belt. Now look, you're the belt. Callie wrenched free, tears hot. You fired yourself, Elena. By hating me. The door slammed, Elena's sobs echoing down the hall. Victoria pulled Callie close, but the embrace felt shadowed. She'll come around, Victoria soothed. But Callie wondered if bridges burned could ever cool. The exhibit opening was a triumph wrapped in tension. Bushwick buzzed, fairy lights strung over exposed pipes, craft IPAs flowing, queer icons mingling with Victoria's media elite. Callie's Disgrace series hung like altars, oils of women with eyes that dared, bodies unbowed. Critics murmured approval. A Village Voice scribe called it a defiant queer odyssey through American grit. Victoria arrived fashionably late, in a midnight blue gown that hugged her like sin, arm linked with Callie's as flashes popped. "You did this," Victoria whispered, pride warming her tone. "Own it," Elena showed. Uninvited, slipping in like a specter, nursing a gin at the bar. Her gaze locked on Callie mid-toast. Something fracturing in her expression. Envy? Regret? She approached during a lull. Voice low. "It's good, Cal." "Really good." Callie nodded. Guarded. "Thanks. Means something. Coming from you." Elena's laugh was bitter. "Don't. I came to apologize." "Sort of. Losing the job gutted me. Made me see how much I resented you." The easy one. The artist. "While I scrapped for scraps." "You're not easy," Callie said softly. "None of this is." They hug. Awkward but real. The first thaw. But as Elena pulled back, her eyes flicked to Victoria, chatting with a curator. "Be careful. She's a climber." "Use me. Now you." The seed planted. Doubt bloomed overnight. Lila struck next. A serpent in silk. She cornered Victoria at a gala, Callie sidelined by small talk, whispering urgencies about that old favor. Victoria brushed her off. But Lila's parting shot carried. "Tell your little artist I'm rooting for her. We all start as muses." Callie overheard fragments later. Paranoia gnawing. That night, in bed, she confronted. "Is this just a phase for you? Collecting broken girls?" Victoria sat up, hurt flashing. "Jesus. Callie. No. You're not a phase. You're the plot twist I didn't see coming." They made up fiercely, bodies colliding in urgent proof. But trust frayed, threads pulling loose. The climax brewed in a storm, literal and metaphorical. Late October. Hurricane remnants lashed the city. Subways flooding. Streets rivers of rage. Callie was at the gallery, packing unsold pieces, when Elena called, "Dad's had a heart attack. ICU at Mount Sinai. Come now." Panic clawed. Callie raced through downpours, hailing a cab that crawled. Victoria met her there, umbrella in hand, face grim. "Elena's with him. Mom's a wreck." The hospital was a sterile hell. Beeps and bleach. Families huddled in defeat. Dad lay pale, tubes snaking, eyes fluttering open to fix on Callie. "You," he rasped, voice a gravel whisper. "Here to gloat. No. Dad. To say goodbye." Callie's hand trembled in his. The girl who'd once worshipped his tool belt now seeing the man. Flawed. Frightened. Mom clutched rosaries. Elena stone-faced beside. "He asked for absolution," Mom murmured. "From all of us." The room thickened. Unsaid sins rising. Elena broke first. "This is bullshit. We're not confessing to ghosts." She turned to Callie. I leaked it. The sketches. To Dad. Thought it'd fix you. Betrayal landed like a gut punch. Callie staggered back. You outed me? To them. Elena's tears fell. I was scared of losing you two. This. Her gaze flicked to Victoria, waiting in the hall. Victoria burst in then, sensing fracture. Enough. We're family or we're not. But hate ends here. Dad's monitors wailed, a flatline scream cutting through. Chaos erupted. Nurses swarming. Mom's wail piercing. In the melee, Callie fled to the stairwell, rain-lashed windows mocking her sobs. Victoria found her, soaked and shaking, pulling her into an alcove. He's gone, Callie choked. And it's all twisted love. Lies. Loss. Victoria's arms were steel bands. Not twisted. Human. We grieve. We rage. We choose better. They kissed there. Desperate. Rain drumming like applause. But Elena's shadow lingered. Her confession a poison arrow. Back at the loft. Grief fermented into fury. Callie packed a bag. Words tumbling. I need space. To breathe without your empire. Without Elena's ghost. Victoria's face paled. Don't run. We fight this together. I'm not running. I'm reclaiming. Callie paused at the door. Heart shredding. You saw me first. But I have to see myself now. She crashed at Jordan's, ex-turned-friend. No strings. Days blurred. Therapy sessions paid by exhibit sales. Walks in Central Park where leaves fell like shed skins. Elena reached out. A letter scrawled in hospital waiting room ink. I betrayed you because I feared my own cracks. Forgive me. Or don't. But no, I see you now, brave. Brilliant. Callie burned it. Ashes joining the wind. Winter clamped New York in iron jaws. Snow muffling the city's roar to a hush of possibility. Callie sublet a tiny walk-up in the East Village. Walls papered in her sketches, women rising. Unashamed. Freelance poured in. Album covers for indie bands. Murals for queer youth centers. 26 now. She felt the shift. Disgrace molting into defiance. Each brushstroke a reclamation. Victoria respected the space. Text sparse but searing. Saw your piece in time out. Proud. No pressure. Just presence. Take that absence. But it honed Callie sharper. She volunteered at a shelter for LGBTQ+ runaways. Hearing echoes of her own expulsion in wide-eyed stories. You're proof we survive, one teen said. Hugging her after a workshop. Humanistic threads wove in. Not grand gestures. But quiet men sharing canvases. Listening without fixing. Elena re-emerged at a holiday market in Union Square. Bundled in a wool coat. Breath fogging the air. Bought you this. She thrust a mittened package. A vintage sketch pad. Leather-bound. Pages whispering of second chances. Callie accepted. Throat tight. Why now? Because life's too short for grudges. Dad's service. Gutted me. Made me see how much I mirrored him, controlling. Scared. Elena's eyes glistened. I got a new gig. Small firm. But it's mine. No empires. They walked. Snow crunching under boots. Steam rising from street pretzels. Elena confessed more therapy. Dates with a barista who quoted Audre Lorde. Cracks in her heteronormative armor. Maybe I'm not as straight as I thought. Or maybe I just miss my sister. Callie laughed. Real and raw. Allies good. Family's better. Forgiveness wasn't fireworks, but a slow-thaw brunch dates. Shared Ubers to therapy. Mom joined tentatively. Rosary tucked away. Whispering. I was wrong. Baby. Love's not a sin. No sermons. Just presence at Callie's next pop-up show. Clutching a tissue like a shield. Victoria waited. Their reunion sparked at the gallery reopening Disgraced. Volume 2. Now with self-portraits. Callie bare-shouldered. Ice fierce. Victoria's influence in the bold lines. The crowd swelled. Activists. Artists. Elena toasting with pride. Victoria arrived last. In a cashmere coat dusted with snow. Blue eyes scanning until they locked. You look unbreakable. Callie's heart stuttered. Took work. Missed the empire. Victoria stepped close. Voice for her alone. Missed the queen in it. They talked in the back room. Amid stacked crates. Words tumbling like confessions. I waited, Victoria said. Vulnerability cracking her poise. Feared I'd scared you off. You woke me, Callie echoed their old refrain. Now I'm ready to wake with you. The kiss was unhurried. Snow melting on their lashes. A promise sealed in quiet heat. No rush to the penthouse, instead. They wandered snow-draped streets. Hands linked. Sharing falafel from a cart. Victoria's laughter rang freer. Stories of Lila's latest flop, engaged to a tech bro. Already miserable. Dodged that bullet. Callie's 2 Jordan thriving in Portland. Murals on coffee shops. We were placeholders. Spring unfurled green and greedy. Their life a tapestry of deliberate weaves. Victoria scaled back Hale and Associates. Mentoring queer startups instead, empire to legacy. Callie's exhibit toured Chicago. Whispers of MoMA. They traveled light. Weekends in the Berkshires. Hiking trails where birdsong drowned old echoes. Conflict lingered. Humanistic in its persistence. A family barbecue in Prospect Park tested waters. Dad's absence a hollow chair. Mom's potato salad a peace offering. Elena brought her barista. A soft-spoken woman named Riley. Their fingers twined under the picnic table. Surprise, Elena grinned. Cheeks pink. Turns out, the Harper genes run deep. Callie hugged her. Tears salting laughter. Victoria charmed with stories of Southern grandmas who'd known a thing or two about loving fierce, earning Mom's tentative smile. But betrayal's scar-itched. Late one night. Post-argument over Victoria's workaholic relapse. Callie unearthed Lila's old email, forwarded for laughs, but laced with barbs. She's using you. Kid. Wait till the next muse. Victoria. Catching her. Didn't defend. Delete it. And know this. I've burned bridges for less. But you? You're the one I build with. They rebuilt stronger. Couples counseling in a sunlit office. Where Victoria admitted fears of aging out of love. Callie her terror of inherited shame. We're not fixed, the therapist said. We're fluent in flaws. The true climax crested in June. A rooftop wedding, not theirs, but Elena and Riley's. Fairy lights twinkling over the skyline. Vows exchanged. In your light. I find my brave. Callie. Maid of honor. Caught Victoria's eye across the aisle. A nod passing soon. After. Under stars. Victoria knelt. Ring glinting. A sapphire band, simple as vows unspoken. Marry me, Callie Harper. Not to fix, but to flourish. Tears blurred. Yes. To all of it, the mess, the magic. Their wedding was intimate. Central Park Boathouse. Autumn leaves confetti. Mom walked Callie down the aisle. Elena beaming. Riley snapping candids. Vows wove personal. Callie promising to see your scars as stories. Victoria. To hold your hand through every storm. No grand tragedy, but a quiet triumph human in its hope. They honeymooned in Provincetown. Cape Cod's queer haven. Dune walks. Lobster rolls. Nights where bodies spoke what words couldn't. Back in the city. Life layered. Victoria's mentorship program booming. Callie's book deal for disgraced illustrations. Years folded. A brownstone bought together. Garden for summer sketches. Adoption talks whispered. A child to raise unshadowed. Elena's firm thrived. Family brunches routine. Mom's prayers now for joy. In all forms. Callie, 30, looked back on the disgrace label like a shed skin necessary, but no longer fitting. In Victoria's arms, watching sunsets gild the skyline. She knew love wasn't absence of pain, but presence through it. Allies found in unexpected places, sisters, bosses, selves wove the strongest nets. And in that American dream, gritty and golden, they flew.